the river that disappeared from ancient India. Thousands of years ago, a great river flowed through the ancient landscape of northern India. Along its banks, people built settlements, grew crops, raised cattle, traded goods, made pottery, shaped beads, and told stories beneath the open sky. In the early morning, fishermen pushed their boats into the water, while farmers walked towards their fields. Children played along the sandy banks, and families gathered near the river as part of the daily lives. To the people who lived beside it, the river seemed eternal. They could not imagine a world without it. But slowly, something began to change. The water became weaker. Smaller channels began to dry. The landscape changed. Communities moved, and eventually, the great river disappeared from much of the visible landscape. Thousands of years later, people would search for traces of it beneath dry land. Some ancient Indian traditions remember the mighty river called Saraswati. But what happened to it? Did it disappear completely? Or did it simply become something we can no longer see? Imagine a young girl named Asha living beside the river. Every morning she walked with her mother to collect water. She knew every bend in the water, every tree near the bank, and every place where fishermen kept their boats. Her grandfather often sat beside the water and told her stories about the generations that had lived there before them. My grandfather stood here, he would said, and his grandfather stood here before him. One evening, Asha asked him, "Will the river always be here?" Her grandfather smiled and replied, "Rivers are older than people." Asha believed him. Why wouldn't she? The river had been flowing every day of her life. It gave water to the fields, animals, and people. It connected settlements and helped travelers to move across the land. To Asha, the river was not just a river, it was life. Then came a year when the rains arrived late. At first, nobody was worried. The villagers believed the clouds would eventually return. But when the rain finally came, there was not even enough water. The following year was worse. The river level dropped. Rocks that had always been hidden beneath the water appeared along the shore. Some smaller channels stopped flowing. Farmers began digging deeper wells, while fishermen had to travel farther to find enough water. Asha's grandfather stood beside her one morning and stared at the shrinking river. "Why is it getting smaller?" she asked. He remained silent for a moment. "Perhaps this is only one season," he finally said, but it wasn't. Years passed and the changes continued. Merchants began arriving less frequently. Some distant settlements were already becoming smaller. Families started moving to a place where water was more reliable. Asha's father was a craftsman who made beads and ornaments for traders. His workshop had once been busy, but fewer merchants came each year. One evening, Asha asked him, "Will they come back?" Her father looked towards the river and quietly answered, "Perhaps." The word became common in the village. Perhaps the river would return. Perhaps the rains would become stronger. Perhaps the merchants would return. Perhaps life would become normal again. But the world was changing. Asha grew older, she married and had children. Her children grew up beside the river, much smaller than the one she remembered. One evening, her son asked, "Mother, was the river really that big?" Asha pointed towards the horizon. "Yes, once you could look across it and barely see the other side." Her son laughed. He thought she was exaggerating, but she wasn't. She remembered boats moving through the water, where dry land now appeared. She remembered fishermen calling across the river. She remembered her grandfather telling her that the rivers were older than people. Eventually, her family left. They packed food, clothes, tools, and a few valuable objects they could carry. Asha stood outside their home one final time. She looked towards the river and wondered whether she would see ever it again. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder. "We must go, but this is our home." He looked at the shrinking river. Home is where life can continue. They walked east. Behind them, the settlement remained. There was no great battle, no single night of destruction, no dramatic ending. The transformation happened slowly. One family left, then another. A workshop was closed, a house became empty, a road became quieter, a well was used less often. The city and settlements changed over generations. This is important because the real decline and transformation of the Indus or Harappan cultural world cannot be explained by one simple event. Archaeologists and historians continue to study the roles of the climate change, shifting river systems, changing rainfall, ecological pressures, and transformations in trade and settlement patterns. Different places may have experienced different causes and different timelines. The people who lived through those changes did not know they were creating a historical mystery. They simply adapted. They followed water, they changed their farming, they moved to new settlements, they carried their traditions with them. Thousands of years later, archaeologists began uncovering traces of these ancient communities. Beneath the soil, they found bricks, pottery, beads, seals, wells, tools, an entire settlement. They discovered evidence of sophisticated urban planning and extensive networks of trade and craftsmanship. Then came the questions. What rivers supported these settlements? How had the ancient landscape changed? Where had the old river channels gone? Could the dry landscape of today once have been crossed by flowing water? One name repeatedly attracted attention: Saraswati. Ancient Indian texts contain references to Saraswati, but identifying the river described in different texts with a specific modern river system is complicated and remains debated. Some researchers have associated it with the Ghaggar Hakra system, while others emphasize that the evidence does not allow a simple identification. Archaeology, geology, environmental studies, and ancient literature provide different pieces of the puzzle. And that is what makes the story so fascinating. Imagine standing today on a dry plain and being told that thousands of years ago a river may have flowed through the same landscape. You see dust, grass, distant trees, and an enormous open sky. You see no boats, no fishermen, no flowing water. But beneath your feet may lie traces of another world. Imagine an ancient traveler standing at that same place. He might have seen fields stretching toward the horizon. He might have heard cattle moving through the settlement. He might have watched boats on the river. He might have bought a bead from a craftsman or exchanged grain with a merchant. He would never have imagined that thousands of years later, someone would stand there and ask, "Where did the river go?" That is the strange beauty of history. The people who lived thousands of years ago did not know that their homes would be archaeological sites. They did not know their poetry would survive. They did not know their tools would be studied. They did not know that future generations would wonder about their life. They simply lived. They worked. They raised children. They watched the seasons. They depended on the river. And when the river changed, they changed with it. Perhaps that is the real lesson hidden in the mystery of Saraswati. A civilization does not always disappear in one dramatic movement. Sometimes it transforms slowly. People move, communities adapt, cities decline, while other settlements grow. Old traditions travel to new places. A landscape change, but human life continues. The river may have disappeared from the surface, but its memory survived. It survived through ancient traditions. It survived through stories, It survived through archaeological remains. It survived through questions asked thousands of years later. And perhaps that is why the mystery of the lost river continues to capture our imagination. Asha once believed her grandfather when he said that rivers were older than people. Asha, years later, sitting beside the shrinking river with her grandchildren, she realized something he had never told her. Rivers may be older than people, but they're not eternal. They change, they move, they disappear. And when they are gone, people remember them. One evening, her grandson asked her, "Grandmother, where did the river go?" Asha looked toward the horizon. "I don't know," she said. "Will it come back?" She smiled. "Perhaps not as water. Then how?" "As a story." Thousands of years later, that story is still being told. The river may no longer flow where it once did. Its ancient course may remain a subject of research and debate. But the memory of a mighty river continues to connect ancient landscapes with the modern world. And perhaps somewhere beneath the earth, hidden beneath layers of soil and time, traces of that ancient river are still waiting. Waiting for someone to discover them. Waiting for someone to understand them. Waiting for someone to ask the question that began this journey. Where did the river go? And perhaps the answer is not simply that it disappeared. Perhaps the river became a memory. Perhaps it became a story. And perhaps, after thousands of years, that story is still flowing.